and welcome back to another video on my channel. I hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. Today we are back with another build video and we are going to be building an arcade. So I got the idea for this during my Sims Let's Play that I'm busy doing on YouTube. I have twin boys and they were going to age up from toddlers to children, and I always threw birthdays at home, so I wanted to try and do something a little bit different. So I built an arcade where they could kind of go and just have fun after they aged up, and I like the way this build turned out. I think it was really fun to do. I spent quite a lot of time trying to figure out what exactly I wanted. So I looked at a ton of reference images to try and see different types of arcades, and the outside was really tricky because a lot of arcades are in shopping centers or other buildings. The ones that I've always went to have always been a part of a different store, so it was very tricky trying to figure out how the outside was going to look. But after a lot of researching and reference pictures, I finally found something that I thought would look really cool, and so I based the outside of the arcade on that image. I also managed to use a light up neon sign for the arcade. Whenever it comes to buildings and community lots, whenever I use signs, I basically use the same two mostly. Sometimes I throw a third one in there just because it seems like the type of sign that you would actually get on a community building. But this time I was able to use one of the neon light up signs, which you can't really use for something like a grocery store, so it was really cool being able to do that for the outside of this building. It also took a little while to figure out what I wanted to do, because I think for an arcade I always think that it needs to be somewhat like dark inside, in the sense where there's not a lot of windows or anything, so that the lights just shine up so much brighter. I love the idea of a lot of different colored lights, and I kind of explore that a little bit. You'll see it in a little bit. I use the staging lights that you can hang from the ceiling so that the arcade is nice and colorful, and then on the outside I just kind of use normal lights, so at night the arcade really shines bright. I only put windows on the front of the arcade, and it has like this cool funky design on. Later we're going to add in a few more windows at the back, but that's going to be right at the end of the build. So I first started the arcade build with the structure as you saw it, and then as time went on I was kind of looking through the different things that can be offered in build or buy mode, and I remember seeing that there is an ice rink, and I've never been able to really put an ice rink in anywhere, and I thought maybe an arcade would be a pretty cool place to put an ice rink, so we kind of add that building to the back of the arcade. I add in some beams so that the lights can hang over the ice rink, and so there can be a lot of pretty colors. It's really cool, and I did player test it. It does work, so that's something that I really liked doing. Maybe someday I'll do something that's just an ice rink, but for now this is kind of a mini ice rink that we decided to do. So we have the benches around the place where you can kind of sit and watch other Sims who are having fun at the ice rink, but you can also have a place to take off your shoes or put something in lockers. We add in lockers, and right in the front you can see that there's shoe racks, so you can replace your shoes with the ice skates, so that you can have basically just a fun time zooting around. For the main part of the arcade, I'm going to be adding in a bunch of different arcade games. Some of them actually work and some of them don't work, but I kind of tried to make it look like other games that do exist in real life. So for example, the first game that we're busy working on is one of those basketball dunking games. So I tried to make it so that you shoot the basketball and then the basketball kind of rolls down this table, collects, you can get more shots and everything. That's what it was meant to look like. During the testing of it, it doesn't actually work, so it's just decoration. If you want it to actually work, you can just remove the table and the basketballs, and then they'll just shoot basketballs, as far as I know, as if it was just a normal hoop. So that's always an option if you want to do it. I also add in these workout machines with the punching bags, which I know look a little bit weird, but the main thinking of that was it's kind of those punching games where there's kind of the punching bag that's hanging from the ceiling, and then you punch it and then it tests your strength. that was kind of what I was thinking when I created those games. Again, those don't work. It's purely just for decoration. I promise there are games that work, but those ones in particular don't work. Over here we are moving upstairs. I do switch a lot between going downstairs and upstairs. It's just kind of what I was in the mood to build. I am busy working on the prize corner, so I believe I set this to a retail lot. I'm not too sure. I know that not many people actually showed up on this lot, which was a little bit disappointing. I wanted it to feel very busy, but you can probably play with the lot type to get different people to come to the lot. But over here, this is meant to be the prize corner. I add in a register, and when I had someone buy the lot, then I set all of these prizes for sale. So in my mind, it's kind of like you could win the prize, but in the game you can buy your prize, which isn't how it actually works, but it was the closest thing I could think of doing. So over here we have like the different toys and the different prizes that you can win, which I think is really cool. I kind of just switch up the top a little bit. So we have a photo studio at the top as well, so you can take some photos. And we also have a hot dog stand, so if you want to get something to eat, you're more than welcome to. This hot dog stand actually works, so if you hire a vendor will actually show up, which is nice because that doesn't happen on all of the lots. We then add in some more games, so I tried to make it look like a pinball game by using the foosball tables, by sizing it down and putting the TV so it looks kind of like a monitor. Those I don't think work either. Now back downstairs you can see that I added in a karaoke machine, which does actually work. It's a lot of fun to see your Sims having karaoke battles, and I also added in kind of the karaoke machines as well as a dance mat, and your Sims can actually dance on it. So that was more of that Dance Dance Revolution type of game, and I create kind of like these little pods. So it's a chair, video game console, and a screen. Those do actually work, so it's kind of like how you can play video games and you have your own like private little booth. That's kind of what I was trying to recreate. In the center of the arcade we have these two massive gaming screens. I don't really know what you call it, but we have two of those massive ones right in the middle, so you can go and play your video games there. We also have foosball tables on each side. Upstairs we do a little bit more, so we add in the motion gaming cubes so you can play through those. We have the fancy ones and the normal ones, but we are also going to be adding in some Don't Wake the Llama tables. We have the one for adults, and we also going to have the one for kids, so kids can also play with it. We have the dartboards, so your Sims can play darts, which is actually a lot of fun. Those definitely do work. I remember playtesting them. And we also have the card game tables, so I think you get 3 different options with the card game tables. I tried to use them in the player tester, and Sims could use the tables, but it was a really weird thing how nobody would sit at the same table, and I don't know why. It was just a very brief test, but they should work. I don't understand why they wouldn't be able to work. So those are also quite an option. Over here we are just working on the bathrooms, so nothing too special. I just needed to add in bathrooms to the lot because I think it's always a good idea to have bathrooms, especially with an arcade. You can get lost playing games for hours, so it just kind of works out. Upstairs we are adding in some posters. The walls seemed kind of scarce, so I added in a bunch of gaming posters, which I really like. I added the same poster like several times, so it's not like all of them are different, but I still really liked it, and so I decided to keep it. Lastly, we are just going to be doing some things to the outside of the arcade, so we added a few things to the roof. I considered putting up a billboard, but there was nothing worth advertising really that I thought really suited it for an arcade. I was trying to look for something like a video game advert that would just really go with the theme, but like I said, nothing just really felt right, so I ended up not putting it in. And just to kind of make the lot look a little bit different, I'm just playing around with the different paving. I do add in a bunch of lights both to the floor and to the front of the building, which you'll see in a little bit. I don't believe you can see me actually doing it, but I do go into live mode and I change some of the colors so that it's multicolored, so if it's at night then the pathway kind of lights up. It's very dim, but it does light up, and then the same with the lights that are actually on the wall. So that is my arcade build. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to hit the like button and subscribe so that you're notified every time I post a new video. If you guys want to download this build for yourself, all of the information will be down below in the description, so you can just type in the name. You should be able to find it and you can just download it through there. Just make sure to use the bb.moveobjects cheat, otherwise you're going to have a little bit of trouble placing the lot down. I hope you guys enjoyed it and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys!